Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas.
Probably go for Audi R8 because I've driven it once before and it was an amazing car to drive. My most prized possession is probably my vehicles, collecting vehicles. Probably Martin Werter. Brian Cook and Phil Adams. I wouldn't know. It originated from the original investors, from their surnames, the first letters of each of the investors, and then the SUN came from the small vehicle. I think it was in the Gods Must Be Crazy, and that's why we ended up driving Datsuns.
The spectators are ready, the drivers are ready. It's time to go racing in the 1.5 hour endurance race, which will end off the action from Phakisa. Let's take a look at how the cars line up. It's an all Scribante front row with Franco on pole and Dino taking up second place. Jeff Gable and Etienne Stradom fill up the second row. Theo van Vuren and Uli Sonne in the BMW 2002 are in 8th, while Willem and Cobus Brits round out the top 12. The lights go out and the cars get ready to take the rolling start. There's still a lot of standing water on the track, so the drivers are not able to relax completely. Franco Scribante makes a great getaway, with Dino Scribante hot on his heels. On board now with Willem Brits, and Neil McLeod lunges down the inside and makes the pass. Brits is pushing hard and pulls up alongside Jan Jacobs in his Alfa Romeo GT Junior. The Alfa has the legs on him. Down the inside of Brits comes Andres Letnik in his Lotus 7 Birkin. At the front though, it is the two Scribante Porsches dicing for the lead. A slight twitch there from Franco, and Dino looks to pounce. But it will take more than that to get past Franco as he narrowly holds the advantage. Dino won't give up though, and he keeps the pressure on Franco as they go into the boot, filling his mirrors with white and orange. Side by side, Brendan Marseille and Andre Darfel head towards the boot. They're coming up to lap Stephen Brits in the MG Youth Program MGA. Darfel goes past, as does Marseille. Behind him is a fast approaching Lotus 7 Birkin of Etienne Stradom. Stradom passes Brits and has his sights set on Keane. Oh no, it looks like Jakub Krenau is out. Stefan Puschaves is pushing hard and making the most of his track time. After struggling with electrical problems all day, he has finally got his car going and out for the endurance race as he makes his way past Sean Hewitt. Andre Darfel in his Lotus is carrying a huge amount of speed into turn 3, and he makes it count as he powers past the Alfa of Jan Jacobs. Jacobs will keep him honest though. Jeff Gable leads John Glover into turn 3, and these two are going at it hammer and tongs. Gable runs slightly wide and Glover closes in. Heading towards the boot, and Glover moves to the inside line. He has the advantage and Gable is forced to concede his position. He will fight back though. Franco Scribante leads Dino Scribante. Nose to tail, the orange and white Porsches go. Dino has a look down the inside heading towards Gilskorp, and he manages to make it stick. The Tiger of JP Bridinen has got between the cousins, and this might give Dino a bit of an advantage as the trio head onto the start-finish straight. Etienne Stradom is flying through the field as he comes up on the Porsche 910 of Steve Pickering. Uli Sonne follows the Lotus's line through as they head towards Gilskorp. Etienne Stradom leads the trio out of Gilskorp and into the final corner. The 2011 Class B champion is pushing hard. Steve Pickering will be enjoying having his 910 back out onto the track and making the most of this long endurance race to get rid of any gremlins since the rebuild after his big off at Midval. Pickering makes his move on Sonner. Heading into turn 1, he takes the inside line. Side by side, Sonner and Pickering round the bend. Neither driver giving an inch, but it's Pickering who exits the corner ahead. Franco Scribante enters the pits. Problems for his Porsche. After giving problems all day, it looks like Stefan Pushovez has got his Porsche back on song as he comes up to pass the Lotus of Jeff Gable. Gable isn't going to make it easy for him though.
Unfortunately, the electrical problem has given too many gremlins, so it's time to retire. We don't know when to hurt the car. We still need to do a lot of races this year.
Back on the track, it's the two Lotuses of Andreas Letnik and Andre Darfel. Letnik lifts his hand and gestures for Darfel to pass him on the inside, obviously feeling that Darfel's Lotus is a bit quicker than his. Darfel signals his thanks once he has made the pass. True sportsmanship behavior, great to see. Coming down the start-finish straight, and Franco Scribante's team have sent him back out, obviously having solved the problem for now, or come up with a way for him to drive around it. He finds himself between this great battle of Jeff Gable and John Glover. Smoke is still pouring out the Porsche though. Dino Scribante meanwhile is coming up to lap George Odalis in his Alfa Romeo Berliner as they head round the boot and towards Castle Corner. Franco Scribante's problems seem to have returned, and the smoke coming out of his engine was obviously there to stay as he pulls his Porsche back into the pits. Behind him, John Glover's Lotus.
Appears to be gearbox. I'm getting stuck in some gears and it comes loose again, then it goes again. Yeah, look, I mean, we led for about 3 laps, but to be fair to Dino, he had the pace. I couldn't match his pace out there.
No one else seems able to match his pace either as Dino Scribante goes about lapping Brian Rawlings in his VW Golf. What happened to John Glover?
Today's just been one of those days. Exhaust manifold's broken, so 3 heats, every heat something's gone wrong. It's just been one of those days.
It also seems to be one of those days for Steve Pickering as he pulls his Porsche 910 off to the side of the track and gets out.
I think it's a bearing. I had about a half an hour of racing that went pretty well, and the last 2 laps I just heard a noise that doesn't sound right, and we think it's a bearing. That's the end of the race.
Unfortunately, we ran a bearing on the engine, but we were doing very consistent times, so it was a fantastic race up to now. It's just a big pity.
And it's time to pack the gloves and helmet away. Sean Hewitt, meanwhile, is going strong on the track and leads Jeff Gable and Andres Letnik as they head into turn 3. Gable has Letnik in his mirrors and will be working hard to keep it that way as they head towards the boot. Into the pits comes Andre Darfel for a refuel and driver change.
We started almost from the pit lane because of a broken fuel pump, so we were right at the back when we started. We made up a number of places. And yeah, we're running strong now. With Rob Gehring in the car now, we should make up some more.
Out goes Werner Fonk after his stop.
Oh, it's pretty good now. It was bad this morning, but sure, it's pretty good now. The track's dry and it's gripping well, and yeah, and the car's going very nicely.
We're having a little bit of problems with the LT at the moment. Every time we turn on the lights, the car's dying. I can't get it above 4,500 RPM, but other than that, handling good. Track is really fun, I won't lie. This is a fun track to be on. It's quick through the back sections, turn 6, 7. You have to be awake, let's put it that way.
Out of the pits goes the other Fonk Escort.
First time you're racing here, every lap started getting more and more confident, and by the end I was starting to enjoy it a lot. It's now one of my favorite tracks.
Possibly not one of Dave Lation's, as after a spin and contact with the barrier, he loses one of his panels. It doesn't seem to have affected him though, as he gets back onto the track and continues with his race.
Yeah, and you've just come in for your fuel stop. How's it going?
Everything is going to plan. The car is going beautifully. I enjoyed the day, so I just hope I finish at the end of the day. That is important.
Refueled and stretched out, Jacobs heads back onto the track. Etienne Stradom is coming up fast behind Rob Gehring in Andre Darfel's Lotus as they enter the final turn. Gehring has it all under control though. Behind them, race leader Dino Scribante is making his way through the field. Oh no, what's happened? It looks like Neil McLeod has gone off on the outside of the final corner. Dave Lation and Don Brains are side by side heading into turn 1. Lation gets the advantage and leads them through the corner. Yellow flags are waving on the final turn as Neil McLeod hops out of the car and gets himself to the tyre barrier where he will spectate for the rest of the race. Down the back straight, and Rob Gearing is closing fast on Andres Letnik. He pulls up alongside the DMAC Autobody Lotus 7 and into turn 9 takes the position. Great move there from Gearing as he puts his foot down and accelerates away. Stefan Pushavez is currently lying in second place, but Etienne Stradom is breathing down his neck as the pair make their way around turn 3. Into the boot they go and Pushavez is ahead, but into the corners Stradom gains ground and closes up. This is turning into a great battle. Andres Letnik has got Sean Hewitt right in his tail as these two battle for position heading into Gielskorp. Round they go, and Hewitt, carrying a bit more speed into Gielskorp, takes the inside line and slides past Letnik. Into the pits comes Gable.
We knew the engine was using oil all day, so the 90-minute race was going to be a little bit of a stretch. I was trying to pace myself, I was short shifting, I was doing everything I could just to nurse to the end, but it looks like about 8 laps short. No more oil, no more engine.
A great shame there for Jeff Gable. Out on the track though, and Stradom is still hassling Pushavez as they head onto the back straight. I wonder if perhaps Pushavez's electrical problems have returned as his lap time has dropped off. Stradom won't be concerned about that as he takes the inside line into turn 9 and takes second place away from Pushavez. Persistence pays, and for Stradom it most certainly has as he now leads Pushavez into Gielskorp. Here is the second place Lotus of Johan Nel, about to be lapped by the first place Lotus of Etienne Stradom. Nel has had a relatively quiet race and is lying a lap ahead of the third place Lotus of Sean Hewitt. On board now with Nel as we watch Stradom lap him and continue with his race. Race leader Dino Scribante rounds turn 9 with not a car behind him. Since the retirement of Franco, Dino has had a relatively quiet race. He comes up now to lap the MGB with Steven Koenig at the wheel. Johan Nel makes his way around Unsini 2 and will be feeling the presence of the green and blue Porsche of Stefan Pushavez behind him. Pushavez will be coming round to lap the red Lotus and hangs on to third place. Johan Nel is currently in fourth. Sean Hewitt is the third Lotus and lying in fifth place overall. He powers past the MGB. Coming around the final bend to take the checkered flag is Dino Scribante. A fantastic victory for him in this longer than usual 1.5 hour endurance race. Confirmation of the results, and Dino Scribante takes victory by 1 minute and 23 seconds from Etienne Stradom, who hung on to beat Stefan Pushavez by 11.5 seconds. Johan Nel came home in fourth and was the second Lotus, with Sean Hewitt rounding out the top 3 Lotuses. Dino Scribante and Stefan Pushavez are currently tied for the championship lead on 74 points.
My cousin kept me very honest in the beginning. He got the jump on the start. Must have looked entertaining those first couple of laps because we were just nose to tail. And then I see he pulled out, so I'm assuming something failed in his car. It was just a matter of keeping the car together and trying to bring it home in one piece.
I was actually not sure where I was on the circuit because we started from the pit lane. I was catching guys and passing people and so on and so forth, and then my pit crew showed me a sign that said go. So I thought, well, we must be doing quite well, and it turned out to be a very good result for us.
The whole day was really, really rough. Couldn't get the car going until the last minutes for the start for the endurance race. I've got an electrical problem somewhere. We've been looking the whole day for it, but eventually we got it to the end. But it was a tough day today.
Great racing from Pekisa. Join us next month when we are back at Zwartkops. History in Motion is proudly brought to you by Midas Sport and its associate sponsors.